Okay, we bought this property in 2021, March, and now it's 2025, and we are in February. So it's been 4 years. We just got the driveway put in. I'm trying to want to show it. And the first thing we did was put in the black little barn, and I lived in that tack room for 3 years. And then finally, the house was just finished in October, and now I live in the house. And what blows my mind is to think I can't believe I lived in that tack room for that long. But here are our woods, which I love a pine grove. We had these thinned out when we moved in. We thinned out these woods, and this is the neighbor's field. And this is actually their fencing, which I'm so glad they put it up because it looks nice on my property. So this divides my property to their property. And what I really like is that well, actually wouldn't say what I really like. What I'm going for is Little House on the Prairie. That's my design plan of this place, is a little farmhouse, little house on the prairie. So, and the other goals are to plant all the medical herbs that are starting to become extinct, or that people just put Roundup on, and make them available for the future generations. So when Jim and I first saw this lot, we were looking for another one across the street, and we drove by, and the middle here has always been open, and it was early morning, and there was a ton of deer there, and there was no house there, and there used to be thick woods behind the house. And it was like this big open sunny morning section with a bunch of deer, and it was just magical. And we're like, this is a lot we want. And it wasn't on the market, but I'm very resourceful, and I called and found out about the lot and got a hold of the person who owned it and sold it to me. So they own that lot too. This one had a lot of trees, and he logged it all out, and used to be thick woods back there. And when we bought the lot, we were offered to buy, you can kind of see over there's a clearing. You have the tree line, and then it opens up. We were offered that, and that used to be thick woods, and we declined because I have a donkey. I always have one horse, and there's a big gully before you get to the other side. We'd have to make a bridge. I could not see me using the land. So we declined it, and we only have 6.3 acres. That would have given us 10 acres. I'm glad I declined it though. It's actually not the best of land. This field was always open. We haven't changed anything here. We have planted a ton of live oaks. So there's 2 stakes here. I plan on planting 2 more live oaks, and then we have 3 on this side lining. So I kind of like the drive when you drive in someone's property and it's lined with trees. So that is our goal. And over here is my greenhouse, which is super warm. I'm also been planting, I've got some holly behind the greenhouse I planted to block out my neighbor's house. So I've been kind of planting some evergreen to block it out, and making a tree line. There used to be one, and the builder cut them all down. So now there's no tree line. The other thing that happened was when they were building the house, people were driving all over, and they drove a lot here and rutted it all out. And so I laid down horse poop and made speed bumps to stop the rain from coming down here so fast and washing it out, and get some grass seed going. So I started that. Same thing happened over here. I laid down horse poop to get that grass seed going. So let's see here. So when I designed the house, I was thinking of an economical size and going towards a tiny house. So it's inside is 28 by 28. So the outside is 29 by 29. you think, why the hell didn't you go 30? I don't know. That's how it worked out. And I have it facing west and this side facing south. And I had the wraparound porch only go on half the house. So I had it on the north side because the north side doesn't get light anyway. So if it makes it dark in the house, it doesn't matter because it's going to be dark. And then I did half the front of the house because I didn't want it to be dark, because a porch, an overhang porch, can make the house really dark. And then I made it so the wind comes from the west to the east. It goes kind of like diagonal like this, and all the storms do. So I have windows on either side of the house that are lined up to make a cross breeze. So in the summer, you just open up the windows and there's always a cross breeze. So the house stays really cool. And then these are the only trees that we really had on the property. I was considering building down here near these trees for shade because we're in the south. But I decided to go with these trees. So I built the house to be directly behind these trees. So in the summer, when the sun is over the house and it starts setting, these trees shade it. So I did think about that as well. I also made it, I knew there was going to be a house being built behind me. So the house is situated where everything is forward. Like all the windows are forward. I don't have windows really in the back of the house. Everything is forward, so I don't really ever see my neighbors. I sit on my front porch, I'm sitting here, and I'm looking at this. Now, isn't this gorgeous? I love my pine grove and the windy road with a fence. You know, then we have our tree line. Eventually, these will be live oaks. So that is what it's going on there. There's my little critters. And let's see. So I did design the greenhouse, and it's made with plastic, not glass. And I really love it. It's just really nice. I'm going to be starting that up. It's February now, so towards the end of February, I'll be starting things in there. And then the other thing of my consideration was, when I was building the house, is my views. So originally I was going to put the house here, and I kind of thought I was going to get too much sun. And then I know that there's going to eventually be a house built up over there. And so I didn't want to be looking directly at another house. I really wanted to look this way because there's a kind of like a seasonal river that comes when it rains. So nothing can really be built down there. So I knew if I face the house this way, it will always be a pretty view. We're facing that way. I don't know what's going to happen over that land because I don't own it. So I moved the house here. And also having the house over there, the side windows were facing that, and I didn't like that. But as you can see, so we have the wraparound porch, which I really like. So on the hot summer days, you really want to sit on the north side, and then in the winter, you want to sit in the front. And I did do the gas lanterns. People don't talk about this. I spent a fortune on these guys and had all the gas lines, blah, 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 all installed. And as you can see, the flames are really low. And the reason why is if I put the flame higher, it makes this black silt everywhere, and the glass gets all black, and you can't even see the flame. And they don't throw off any light. So I had to have the electrician come back and install a ceiling light, because I literally have no light in the front of the house because those little lights don't do much. So live and learn. Oh, and I love my little rain chain. I didn't want to have a black gutter going against the house, so I did a rain chain, and I love just sitting there watching it. And then we had the black gutter here. Yeah, I still can't believe I lived in that tack room. And the first oak we planted with that tree. And oh my God, look at it. It is thriving. This one came in the next year. And the goal was to shade this. And this is my shower. I did a video on this whole tack room. But this is where I lived. I had my kitchen, my outdoor shower, and the animals. I built this to keep the animals from not coming in my deck all the time. You know, that was a storage shed, and that was their stall. And yeah, and I had my bird feeder here because, again, I had the crossbreeds. I designed it for the crossbreeds, and sitting in my bed, I could look at the birds here, which was really nice. I'm always thinking about my views when I plant, when I build something. So again, we planted this to shade this in the summer, so it's nice and shaded, the barn, which clearly it's working. And then I have this lovely view from this little tack room. Oh, so here's the view. Oh, so when I did my house, I considered the windows in the view. So kitchen sink right there. And when you sit at the kitchen sink, this is your view. Now, how nice is that? And then the living room is right here. This big window is the living room. And again, nice view. And then I have my bed window. So I have cross breeze again with the window. The wind goes through here. And again, you sit here and you overlook the animals, which I love. And I put in a deck up there to, again, look over my own property. Now, over on this side, so we have 180 views in the house, which is great. You sit down and it's great. So right here, this is, instead of getting a fancy wood stove, hood, you know, people spend $2,000. I was like, I'd rather a fancy big window, open the window and let it exhaust out here. I'm like, why spend all the money? I'd rather have a window. So I put a window because hoods are not required. They're like a waste of money. So I put my bird bath and my bird feeder here. So when I'm cooking, this is my view. And I had limbed up the trees and laid on some mulch, whatever, all the leaves are down. We don't have grass or anything yet, obviously, but this is my view. I made it particular to have this view from this window. I didn't do nothing here. And then the back of the house, here's the bathroom, and I put shutters, obviously, because it's at height. But if you go to the back of the house, there's really no windows, and it's the garage. Let's park my car. So here's the garage, and as you can see, no windows, but we do have that one. But that looks over this section over the pastures, which looks great. So having the neighbors there really don't bother me. As you can see, we're planting, you know, it's starting planting, so you know how long that's going to take. So I pick up trees and plants and plant them along here. So we're both really working on making a tree line here. And I just laid down this hay. I'm going to get dirt and lay down a mound of dirt here and then plant medical herbs all here. And then I thought I might do a like terrace garden, just mounds instead of wood beds, and just kind of like put them in there. So that's my goal. And we planted that live oak. I think I want to plant another live oak over there. But again, look how pretty this is. Let's see here. Oh, and here is the courtyard. So we had leftover stone from the greenhouse, and so I had this privacy wall built because I don't really know what's going to happen over there. So oh, and there's our wood stove hot tub. Oh my god, that thing's great. Oh, and we have a fountain. So the bedroom, the downstairs bedroom, is right here. So if you're in the bedroom, you get all this privacy. It's great. You get the fountain. I originally was going to do plants in here, but I'm not here. So, and it gets really, really hot here in the summer. So I'm not here to water it. So right now I'm just going to do pots and then move them. I might take them home. But the sun, I planned this as well. The sun comes from the east over here. So morning coffee, this is where you sit. And if it's cold out, you are you're in a wind like protected area. So it's super nice. And then we have the hot tub right here, which is easy accessible from the bedroom. So We had to make this contraption because my goats decided they wanted to kill that tree and eat it. So we have to do this until it gets big enough, and the deer will eat it. So this will just be here for a couple of years. You know, it is what it is. So here's the little donkey and the little animals. So for future plans here, we want to do the garden out back. Obviously I want to get grass growing here. I'm not going to do much shrubs and stuff because I'm not here in the summer. I'm only here in the winter. So it's kind of like low maintenance. Love the fire pit. It was like one of the first things we put in was the fire pit. And then we did the fencing, half of it. And then we had this barn built by the Amish and they dropped it here. It was during the COVID. And, you know, where you couldn't get builders, the lumber was off the chart, was expensive, you couldn't get supplies because the whole country shut down. So to not spend a fortune, I waited it out and I lived in that tack room right there. Amazing.